Hello, everyone. My name is Luke. This is my rambling series where I just go on and on and on about life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, everything else everybody wants to talk about. And there's no real flashy editing, no sponsorships, nothing like that. This is just a chance for me to talk with you and for you to talk with me in the comments and on Twitter, DMs, and all that stuff. As much as we physically can do. Today, I want to talk about a pretty big life step that I have taken in the last month and a half or so, and another big life step that I'll be taking in a little less than a month at this point, or at least from the time of the recording of this video. I just want to get it out there because, full transparency, like my life would not be what it is. I would not be who I am. I wouldn't be doing any of the stuff I'm doing if it weren't for people like you watching these videos, supporting me in this endeavor. My life's absolutely incredible, and I have you guys to thank in large part for that. And that's not lost on me. So I feel the least I can do is to try and engage with you guys, get more of a dialogue going. And not to mention, like, a lot of you guys have fantastic advice, and a lot of you guys have gone through a lot of these things and difficulties that I might be going through, and can offer some guidance and some assistance. And you guys are a great resource. But beside the point of this video is, for one, I wanted to talk about my big boy job. Now, this is something a few people have noticed and came across through their own independent research, I guess, mostly LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you should look me up, send me a connection request. I'll accept it. I'd love to connect on that. But on LinkedIn, I updated my profile saying where I got my new job. And I got this new job early July. I've been interviewing for it and working towards it since January, so it was something I knew was coming, but it just wasn't materializing, and then I got it and I nailed it down. Basically, I mean, you can look it up and find more details, but I'm a licensed commercial real estate broker now, specializing in multifamily transactions and deals. What that basically means is that I facilitate the sale of commercial, like apartment buildings and condos and complexes, things like that. And that might sound totally random, and you're kind of right to feel that way because it is a little random, especially compared to what I talk about here. But the reason I got that job was, for one, because come December, I will have roughly $50,000 in student loans that I will need to pay, like, off completely. And I want to get out of that, that trudge as quickly as I possibly can. That's the one thing that, like, my dad has said since he was very young. He says he wishes he had just done all he could to get rid of student loans because they can just totally screw you over. Education's great. Getting an education is phenomenal. You should do it if you can. I do not regret getting my education, getting that wrong side. It's the mirror effect on the camera is weird. Getting this diploma cost 50 grand, and I'm not really that sorry about it. I know a lot of people who have a lot more student loan debt than that, and some of them don't even have degrees. A friend of mine I ran into, he might be watching this video, to be perfectly honest. I know he keeps tabs on everything I do here, but I ran into him randomly in Old Town Fort Collins in northern Colorado, and I asked him, how you doing? We went to high school for a little bit. He dropped out before senior year, went to another school, but junior year I knew him, and I was like, how are you doing? How's college going? He said, well, it's going pretty well. I went to a really expensive private school on the East Coast, and it was great, but my grades were really bad. So after a year and a half, I dropped out, and now I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I was like, wow. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, hopefully at least you got some good life experience from that, trying to keep it positive. And then he goes, yeah, I did get a lot of life experience. But it's tough with that $60,000 in student loan debt I got to deal with now. I didn't really know how to respond. He went to school for a year and a half, had to drop out because he was failing all of his classes, and he's got 60 grand in debt he's got to pay off with no degree to show for it. That's a terrible spot to be in, and I do not envy that. I do not You know, I sympathize with that. I can understand that because I think a lot of kids are pushed to go to college and to build up all this debt when they don't even know what they're studying or why they're studying it. You know, you see a lot of these people that get degrees and it's just kind of useless for what they actually end up doing for the rest of their lives. It's kind of unfortunate. I wish we encouraged people to really take time and think through what they were getting their degree in before they spend tens of thousands of dollars on it. But, you know, wishful thinking, I suppose. But all of that being said, I have a lot of student loan debt that I've got to come up with payments for in the next 6 months. I've got to really tackle it hard. And full transparency, if I were relying on YouTube purely for those payments and for some of the other big life events I have coming up, like starting a family. I get married in September. We'd like to get a house relatively soon. All of that stuff can't really do on a YouTube, gaming YouTuber budget. I wish you could, but you just can't right now. Some YouTubers, the big guys, I'm sure, the bigger gaming YouTuber guys that, average 300,000 views a video, I'm sure they're doing just fine and they could manage that. I currently cannot. Maybe we'll get to that point, but as of right now, when the bills are coming due, I can't. So I was faced with a choice. I could either be one of those guys that just e-begs for money. And I just would hop on camera and I'd be like, guys, I need you to pay for this education I got, this diploma that has nothing to do with the topics we discuss. I mean, a little bit tangentially, perhaps, in my discussions of gaming businesses and stuff, I pull out some finance terms and things. But usually it doesn't have that much to do with it. So I could just e-beg and try to get, you guys collectively to help me pay for it. Or I could just pull myself up by my bootstraps and get a big boy job and do something with that degree, perhaps that pays better as well, and could also open up a whole new world of opportunities. And that's what I decided to do. So I got this job and it's been great so far. Of course, it's a commission-based position, as all brokerage is. So it'll be a hot minute before I see any sort of return on all of the work I'm putting in, 60, 70 hours a week into that job. But the team over there is fantastic. Everybody there is phenomenal. Everybody I've been doing and I'm setting up transactions with and deals with, they're all phenomenal people, and I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at. And in all likelihood, if this starts to turn into, if deals start to close and if I end up being good at this, a lot of money will be on the table, and that opens up a world of possibilities for this YouTube channel. So I want to stress, like I did in the last video where I discussed these next moves, I'm not giving up on the YouTube channel. I'm not moving on from any of this. Gaming is my passion, and as a lot of you guys know who have followed this channel from the beginning, I did this for a long time where I wasn't getting paid, where I was working as a janitor at a big event center / church / whatever the hell it was. They called me the custodian, but I was a janitor, let's be honest. And I did that while starting out in community college, and then I worked my way up, and I worked at Best Buy for a hot minute, worked with the Magnolia Home Theater sales, and then I got to the point where I was able to work on YouTube full time, and that paid all my bills for the last year and a half. And now I'm at the point where a lot more bills are coming up, and some pretty steep bills as well. And I've just got to come up with a way to pay for all of that in a not desperate way where I'm pleading for help from everybody else. So I decided to just go take care of it, and I'm hoping that this new job will do it. Yes, it's a lot of work, but I'm accustomed to that. I tend to enjoy it. It just means I've got to get really good at managing my time. And that brings me to the second point, which is that all of this newfound income, in addition to paying off all those bills, is also going to help with expanding the pursuits here on this channel. So for instance, I have an editor that I've been working with, Jacob. He actually also happens to be my brother. And he's very talented at editing, and he's actually been editing all of the Knit Grit videos for the last few months probably. I'm not sure exactly when we started, but he's done a lot of them. And as far as I can tell, nobody's noticed the switch over. I stopped editing those, and he's been doing all of it, and he's been doing a great job. Such a great job that people can't tell that it's not me. So I think that's high praise for him. And he's going to be helping with this Last of Us critique. He actually is actively helping right now with the editing to try to speed that along. Because in all likelihood, this Last of Us critique would probably take me 3-4 months to create if it were just me. Our hope is that we can knock it out in 2 months with his help, and I think we're on track to do that. It's just a massive video, and it requires a lot of effort from everybody involved, and I think we're going to pull it off. I think it's going to be good, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But it's also just such a controversial game that, you know, it's tough to say whether or not my perspective means anything at the end of the day anyways. So who knows if it's even worth making. But at the very least, it's just fun to dig into more of the details. For those of you wondering why I might be kind of dealing with chest gas, whatever, like burps is what it is. It's because this stuff, Zevia, it's really good. It's made with stevia, the natural 0-calorie sweetener. Sugar substitute, and it's actually very, very good. The root beer version is way better than anything else. I actually highly recommend it, but it's super bubbly and it makes you kind of burp uncontrollably. It's a problem, but all of that's kind of beside the point. What is going to be cool to see in the next few months, especially as we get into the next gen of consoles and a lot of the other stuff that's coming down the pike, is that I'm going to be able to bring on more and more people to help with these videos. We very well might hire a second editor. Basically, we'll have one editor that is working on Nit Grit, another editor that's working on critiques, and then we will have perhaps even we'll have another editor that's helping me out with the video essays and things. But to be perfectly honest, I kind of enjoy doing those essay cuts and videos. It's just a chance for me to stretch my creative limbs and fingers and joints, whatever it is. Stretch my legs, I think is the actual saying. But, you know, that's just time consuming. And right now, the thing I have the least amount of is time. It's not that I'm not motivated. It's not that I'm not trying to play all of these games. I just don't have a lot of time anymore. So I'm trying to manage it better. And I think I can manage that, but it just takes a lot of effort. And so I appreciate all of you bearing with me. And hopefully you haven't noticed too much of a speed bump in how everything's been pouring out. But we're trying to keep that up. We're trying to move it quickly. It's just, you know, we're at a weird point because I'm 23 years old. I'm a youngster or old, depending on where you're at. And I've got my degree. I feel like I've got some knowledge and things I could apply. I feel like I'm motivated. I have energy. I can move and shake stuff. I'm ready to work my ass off to make a lot of money, to build opportunities. Because I've always known I've wanted money, but I don't want it for the sake of money. You know, I don't want it for money's sake. I don't want to just accumulate it in a big bank account. I want it because it gives you opportunity. It gives you security. If you have money, enough money to pay off your debts, that's phenomenal. That's fantastic. Everybody wants that. If you have enough money to go and pursue your dreams, like for me, I want to found a game studio. I want to make video games. I'm not a talented coder and programmer. I tried getting into that. I'm not a talented graphic artist. I know that. But I am good at figuring out what gamers like, at breaking down video games, at figuring out what works, what doesn't, why it does, why it doesn't. But I'm not stupid enough to think that I could just waltz into a game director position. You know, you have to build yourself up to that point. So perhaps my route into that is to just start my own studio and get some phenomenal talent in there that helps on all of the other stuff that I know I am bad at. And then I can kind of bankroll it, handle the financial side of it, the business side of it, and then also offer the creative input that I would want to put in. So my hope is that I can get to that point. And my hope is that this new job could potentially bring funds to the table where I'd be able to go and pursue that. Maybe even open up an entire studio to shoot these types of videos and expand our gaming coverage efforts beyond what I could currently imagine. But, that takes opportunity, that takes power, that takes money, and that's what I'm trying to find. And I don't want to rely on a bunch of sweethearted, viewers on YouTube and fans of the channel and people who have been following me and that I've been interacting with for years and years. I don't want to have to rely on you for my dreams and my aspirations. I would love for you to be along there for the ride. I would love for you to support me in that, but I don't want to be the guy that's asking you to throw $5 my way, here and there. Now, that being said, all of the Patreon support is phenomenal. Patreon supporters are basically paying for me to go and hire other editors to help with these critiques to speed the production process along. So don't think that those funds are being underappreciated or anything. Those funds are what are allowing these videos to come out probably at twice the speed they would normally. That being said, I hope to one day be at the point where I can just close down the Patreon page. Not that I don't appreciate all of your donations, but one day I would hope that I could just fund all of it myself and just not have to ask you guys for anything. I can just put out videos for free, period. That's it. Don't worry about it. I would love to be able to take ads off the videos. That would be phenomenal. You just watch all the videos, no ads, just plow through it. That would be great. As of right now, that's not doable, but that's my ultimate goal. So there's just a lot of things moving, a lot of things shaking. And I'll try to wrap this up quick because this video is way too long already. But early September, I'm getting married. It's kind of crazy. A lot of you guys have met Nikki throughout the years on live streams and things that we've done, but it's actually happening. We're getting married here in Colorado. It's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it. There's a lot of stress with planning the wedding, as there always is, but I'm very excited to actually lock her down, and hopefully she's excited on the contrary. But it's just a weird phase of life. I feel like just a year and a half ago, I was just some kid making YouTube videos while going to college classes, and now, like, I'm a licensed commercial real estate broker and I'm selling like apartment buildings, and I'm getting married, and then we're going to be looking for a house, and I've got, a business plan, and I've got business partners, and then I'm working to hire more employees to help with the YouTube channel. It's just weird. It feels like I was a kid and all of a sudden was a grown man, like in the span of just a few months. And it's a little startling, but I think I like it. And I appreciate all of you guys bearing with the delayed schedules throughout that process. So I don't know what the future holds exactly, but I do know that I'm going to try to take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to work my ass off to get to the point where we can do some pretty incredible things. And all I ask is that you guys be patient while I try to struggle bust through it. If you send me a DM on Twitter, I try to respond to them. DMs on Twitter are really hard right now just because, I'm not joking, I probably get 8 to 10 a day. And if I spend the weekend with my family doing something and I just don't look at Twitter DMs and I don't try to respond, those build up to 20, 30, 40, 50 deep. And pretty quickly I just lose control of it, especially because I would love to sit and have like a 10-minute conversation with somebody. It's just next to impossible to do that on a regular basis. And it's straight up impossible to do it for absolutely everybody. But one way that you can at least stand a better chance of me seeing your stuff is to hop over on the Discord server, tag me in your posts. I won't see the posts unless you tag me at Lukeler in that. But you head over to the Discord channel. They'll fill you in on all of that. Those guys are phenomenal. They've been with me since the beginning. Seriously, every single one of those guys is fantastic. We have a great group over there. But just hang with me. We got some cool stuff. But I want to hear what's going on in your life, if any of this has anything to do with what you're going through. in general, I'm optimistic. You know, there's a pandemic, there's all sorts of crap going on in the world. We have an election coming up, which I'm sure lots of people are super excited for. But I'm trying to just look at the broader picture, more long term. I think that keeps people moving forward. I think that helps you grow better than if you are focused on the short term. And I'm excited because I think in the long term, there's going to be some cool stuff coming down the pike. So that's all for me. I'll cut this video off before it gets too crazy long. But truly, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting me through all of this. Got some cool videos coming out, and we're headed into one of the most exciting times of a gamer's life, which is the launch of a new generation of consoles, a new generation of gaming. I think it's going to be pretty amazing, and I'm excited to go through it with you. So thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking all the videos. I really do appreciate it. I love you all. And from me, Vil, the lizard in the cage, Finley, who's laying on the floor, and Hermione, the kitten, who's sitting on the windowsill, we love you very much. We'll see you in the next video. Peace out.